About a year or so ago, I reviewed Numskull's Pac-Man quarter arcade cabinet. Well, to be fair, so did most other YouTubers that I know. You may be wondering where the cabinet is in my fabled gaming room these days. And well, here it is. It has a nice little place on top of my console shelves, flanking my trusty Mega Drive. It doesn't get played much, but it's a lovely thing to look at still. But it does need a companion. And now, it's got one. Numskull have just released the second of their quarter arcades, and it's another Namco classic, Galaga. Indeed, this is part of a new wave of the machines that will see Galaxian and Miss Pac-Man also on the shelves by the time you see this video, as well as the likes of Dig Dug, Track and Field and Space Invaders following next year. And once again, the folks at Numskull have sent me one for review. So, I'm happy to oblige. Here's a quick look at the fella. This is perhaps a bit of a bigger deal for me than the Pac-Man cabinet. I obviously have a lot of respect for the old Paxter as an arcade icon, but it's never been one of my favourite games. Galaga, on the other hand, I love it. It's one of my favourite arcade shooters. I love the way the ships fly about, the way it plays, the simple yet memorable sound effects. Everything about it just screams of the golden age of the arcades. If I had to pick just one of these cabinets to have, including the other ones that are scheduled to come out, well, it'd definitely be Galaga. So if this is the first time you've seen one of these cabinets, here's the deal. They're an exact as possible replica of the original arcade cabinet, only a quarter of the size. They're nice and wooden with a few metal details, they feature the original arcade art, and of course, you can actually play the things. There's some nice small buttons, a nice clacky joystick, the ability to access dip switches and customise the game, and a ROM running on a bespoke emulator. It certainly plays Galaga very well. I've enjoyed having a few sit-downs with it. It's very responsive, the joystick moves with a light touch, there's no need to chuck the machine around when you're playing it, it doesn't slip everywhere, the buttons are appropriately tactile, and the speaker pumps out a good volume of sound without being weak and tinny. So it's all good on the playing front. And yet this review isn't going to come to the conclusion that this is like the ideal way to play Galaga or anything. Accuracy and materials do come with a price tag, and this costs £130. So I'm not going to sit here and say that this is the new best way to play Galaga. It's a fun and a unique way, but it's not cost effective, and there are about 1,000,001 different ways to play this game. It's not obscure. If you're looking to just play an arcade classic, well, this might be a bit expensive. So with that in mind, playing is perhaps not the main focus of this. So what is the best way to think of these quarter arcades? Who are they for? Well, I generally think of these arcades as ornaments, essentially. They're like vases for retro gamers. Most of the time this will be looked at, it won't be played. But considering what it is, that's not a negative. We don't really bat an eyelid when someone splashes out on a nice bit of ceramic for their table or shelf or whatever, and this is similar. It's something that's eye-catching for somebody's game room, or maybe even their company offices or what have you. That's kind of Numskull's target market, and there is a certain collectible aspect to them which will make certain folk want to get all of them so that they can have their own little mini arcade. I'm not necessarily part of this market, as I don't have that kind of money and probably wouldn't buy one myself, but I do appreciate having them, and I'm very thankful for Numskull, who are pretty awesome folk, for sending me them. After all, now 2 quarter arcades flank my Mega Drive. Galaga really ties the shelf together. So if you're just looking to play an arcade classic, it's probably too expensive. But if you're looking for a nice thing to coo at, or some sort of present for the retro inclined in your life, and you got the cash to spend, you might well consider purchasing Galaga at this time of the year when tons of cash is being splashed about anyway. Bye for now.